All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? Sorry about this. Was the first today. It's my Friday. It's 11:30 a.m. The first morning that I haven't been able to live stream in probably a month and a half. So I wasn't sure you guys would even be able to notice, but I got a lot of messages. So at the end of the day, I say thank you. I'm glad you guys missed me per se, but I've been under the weather. I'm fighting it. I think I'm getting past it. I think I'm getting over the sickness. I told you my buddy visited. He came to visit me earlier or late last week from the UK, and he's staying with me. And he definitely, being on a plane for 30 hours, he caught something, and then I had it, and so I just slept in this morning. But luckily for me, it's one of our slower weeks in boxing of the year. So I just slept in a little bit and, woke up to some messages like, Johnny, what the hell? No live stream? So I was like, hey, man, I needed some rest. But here we go. Let's get after it. MMA better, man. Haven't seen you in a while. What's up, buddy? Money Meech. Let's do our check-ins, guys. I'm going to leave we'll leave it open because we got fights starting soon. David Iser, appreciate you, brother. I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. I just needed some rest. I had, it's kind of like that cough that burns or like a sore throat, but a lot of you boys who are old like myself, you probably got your tonsils out. So when you get your tonsils removed, a sore throat isn't. It's hard to tell if you're sick or not because you don't have that organ there that kind of swells up. But yeah, it's just I just been really sore, fatigue, energy levels low, and then a real dry cough. But I feel better now Friday morning than I have all week. So we're here. Let's get after this. Let's do this. MMA better. Let's get to MMA better's question. And David Iser, thank you for asking. Money Meech in the house. Assad, I appreciate you too. MMA better says, yo, do you think Mirko is easy money as it gets? I do, guys. And I apologize to the boys, to all the Johnny says boxing insiders. So if you see the blue stars, these guys support my channel. You pay a couple bucks a month to be an insider, and then you get access to the Discord. And generally throughout the week, when I give you my picks, you will have film study to watch, and you will get my breakdowns and videos of Stats Don't Lie videos. This was the first week that I haven't been able to do those since last year, so I apologize. So we're going to talk about it, though. To get to your MMA better says, does Rios or does Mirko Cuello as easy as it gets against Rios? I don't want to say any fight is easy. I think they're mismatched. I think Cuello is a level above. So if you go to our Discord right now, I gave you guys 4 tickets. On one of my long parlays, I have Cuello on the money line, not a lot of juice. But on a method of victory, I have a 2-leg method of victory parlay. And so I actually have Cuello by stoppage on one of those tickets. So if you guys are members of the Discord and you haven't checked that out, we launched a new Discord channel within our Johnny Says Boxing Insider, and it's my picks because you guys ask. So the 4 tickets of mine are up there. What's up, Goat? Goat got that teal badge. How'd you do that? That's something YouTube does for you boys. Go to OG. Childish Gambino. What's up, buddy? What's up, Johnny? I usually miss the live because of work. I'm glad to tap in. Let's do it, Childish. We miss you too, mate. Let's get the questions going. I'm going to stay on as long as you guys are here. Hand History Vault in the house. Johnny, have you went over Cortez versus Maloney? I haven't. History Vault, because we're going to get to Cortez and Maloney because that's next week. I'm going to do a video on that one. David says, Aronotian fetting back to returning to the ring after 2 years. Yep. Daniel Vega, we appreciate you. So to put a bookend in History Vault, and History Vault, I appreciate you as well. You've been helping me out on the back end on the Discord. So I just wanted to give a shout out to History Vault. I learned how to create a new channel because of you. So I say thank you. I will get to RG Cortez and Andrew Maloney. I'm going to probably break that down on a Stats Don't Lie video. It's a tough one because everybody, how much does Maloney have left in the tank? What's he really fighting for? RG Cortez. I think it should be a fun fight. David Iser, I think Oda is a good fighter. Yeah, we just haven't seen him in a while. I want to cover real quick in the first few minutes a fight that is on my books. We don't have a lot of action, boys. Not shocking. It's already Friday. We know the fights in Africa start in about 12 hours. So the first fight in Benghazi, Libya starts 2 a.m. my time. So that's in about 12 to 14 hours. There's a fight in Australia tomorrow that I put up on a parlay. I gave it as a free parlay for the YouTube subscribers. So the boys on YouTube are regular subscribers. I still give you my long parlay. But the boys on the Discord, we got a mad community there. You guys get a bunch of different content. You know that. There's a fight that I put, an underdog fight. It's my underdog of the week, right? We only have a handful of fights to pick. I really don't see any dogs barking in Africa. I know Jerome Pampillon is kind of a sexy pick to beat Albert Ramirez. I don't see that happening. That's not the underdog I'm going with. I am going with John Manu is fighting a Russian kid out of Australia. I put that up in our Discord, and you guys wanted me to explain that. So I'll give you why real quick. So if you guys could get, it's the Alexander Davyatov. Alexander Davyatov is a $2.80 dog. He's fighting John Manu. You guys will recognize Manu because he, the one time he kind of stepped up, he lost. He got stopped by Kurt Scobie. But Datanov is a tough Russian, mate. Not a lot of people know about him. He hasn't fought in a year. 16-0, 14 knockouts. He is coming, he's kind of an in-betweener, 35 and 40. Manu is the natural 40. This fight's at 40. I'm going with the plus 280. You don't have to follow my leads, guys. You guys are adults. That's my upset of the week. We don't get a lot to choose from. I'm leaning on Dayatov's background, his Russian pedigree. I'm leaning on his power as well and his beliefs. I put up a little bit of an interview when you watch him talk. He's a regional champion. His camp thinks he has what it takes to go to the world level. We'll see. John Manu's a great test. Manu's only loss was to Scobie, so we'll see what happens. That's my reasoning. Goat says Ramirez isn't going to lose. He's a lock. Ramirez is one of my locks, so Goat, we're on the same page. History says, yeah, if Maloney is washed, he loses. This fight solely depends on how Maloney is. I honestly don't want to bet. I might not bet on it either, History Vault, because next week we got a lot of good action. We got a lot of good money coming in next week. I'll cover it for you, though. We could do a breakdown. I saw Gary broke it down. If I have time, I'll break it down. It's really the Maloney brothers, man, former champions, Australia. They lost. I don't really, it's been like, 3-4 years of them saying they're retired. They come back. They get screwed over in a lot of close decisions. They lose big fights. They're tough as nails. They're great fighters. They've done a lot for Australian boxing. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he has any in the tank. Goat says, bro, can you believe on FanDuel we don't even have a Ramirez fight? That's insane. That's insane. Goat, are they giving you the Cuello versus Rios fight? Rambler says, I don't rate Ramirez. He narrowly beat Castillo, who Smith starched in a round or two. He narrowly beat Castillo, who starched Smith. Okay, Rambler, then go the opposite route then. If you think that Jerome Pampillon is a live dog, take him. I just don't see it. He's going to have a marauding style. I'm actually shocked nobody's really put money out for the Venezuelan. Light heavyweight, you got to think that if the Venezuelan gets it done, he puts his name right in line for a big fight at light heavyweight, whether it's Better Beeve or Bivol. He could crack. He got power. I don't know if Pampillon is at that level. We're getting undercard fights, just not that fight. That's insane. Yeah, so I also put in the Discord, guys, I gave you my money line, my money line long parlay is plus 495 because I threw that dog on there. So you can follow it if you want. I like it. That's on the Discord though. So only you guys with Johnny says insiders will see that ticket. James Drummond in the house, my man. James Drummond, appreciate the support. Catching live, love your I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the support. The content comes from you boys, so thank you for the support. David Iser, who Better Beeve fight? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't saying that it was on paper, David. Better Beeve is fighting Dion Nicholson, American, high knockout to win ratio. But the the light heavyweight match in terms of the sanctioning bodies where Ramirez is in his career, I mean, he's really highly ranked. So you got to think if he goes in another performance, maybe, let's say he stops Jerome Pampillon. you got to think somebody's going to give him money. You know, I'm surprised. I wonder why promoters haven't really reached out to him. I wonder if it's, you know, strictly because, you know, a Venezuelan light heavyweight. I mean, how often do we see that? I don't know. We've covered him before on the channel, though. He's been on, you know, he fought in that on that Canadian card just maybe 2 months ago. I also gave you boys my UFC parlay. I don't want to jinx anything, but we're hitting on UFC again. The boys are back. And so I put a nice little UFC parlay. That is paying, that's a little 4-legger. It's paying plus 270. $100 gets you money back plus 170. I could break down any of those picks if you want me to, because you know, as you guys hang around the channel, you know, we could go UFC if we want to. And this is kind of a perfect weekend for it. There's a couple locks on the UFC. I'm actually doing a first for my channel. I actually called it a hybrid parlay. I took a couple fights from the UFC card and pinned them with the boxing in Africa, and I made a hybrid parlay. That's up in the Discord. David, yeah, he should sound familiar, Icer. Go to his box rec. We were covering him on the live stream like maybe 6 weeks ago. He fought up in Canada. I don't think it was the card with, it wasn't the card with Mabili, which only a couple weeks ago. It was the card before that. Sam Martin asks, do I know anything about Mike Perez's opponent? We were talking about Mike Perez. He's fighting Christian Fabian Luis. It's an odd fight. I couldn't find any tape, Sam Martin, so I'm not even going to pretend. I couldn't find tape on him. He's a big favorite. A lot of the boys in the Discord are calling that a lock. I suggest if you're hesitant at all on any of these bets, you can listen to what I say, but you also should do your own research. So I'm just being honest about the Mike Perez opponent. James Drummond, I'm a bit late. Have you talked about the underdog? Yeah, Drummond, the underdog is an Australian fight in Melbourne tomorrow. Guys, there's an Australian card making boxing history. The first mother-son ever to fight on the same pro card. Shotgun Shannon O'Connell and her son are fighting on the card. The bigger fight, though, is taking place at 140 pounds between an undefeated Russian who's 16-0 with 14 knockouts, who's a plus 280 dog, against the one-loss John Manu. Manu's only loss is when he got stopped against Kurt Scobie. Manu's the favorite. We got to pick a dog. My dog of the week, I'm going with the Russian at plus 280. Rambler says Ramirez might get stopped. That's great money then, mate. Rambler, brother, take it. He might get, it's boxing. I don't see it happening. I don't see Jerome having the arsenal to do it. He's a bull, though. Jerome's a big boy. He's going to be the bigger guy in there physically. But I think the style of Ramirez, I think it could be a fight. We could have a firefight on our hands. I'm leaning on the durability and the power of Ramirez in the class. Just, you know, his punch selection, working both angles, the body up top. What I've seen more as of late out of Ramirez. Jay Voorhees in the house. Camp Crystal Lake, holla at your boy. You ever bet on NFL futures? My dad always said, Johnny, bet with your wallet, not with your heart. I never bet on the NFL because I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. And you guys know how tough it is to be a Cleveland Browns fan. The only thing I really ever bet on other than boxing and MMA is college football. Rambler said he fought Connor Wallace, southpaw. And, you know, Rambler, if you're going to go to BoxRec and not watch the Connor Wallace fight, that's a mistake, because BoxRec is going to say Connor Wallace won via split decision. That was an insane scorecard. Connor Wallace won wide unanimous. And so if you're just judging, oh, he only lost a split, no, that's not what happened. He lost that fight by a wide margin. The MMA better, yeah, I do. My buddy fights in the PFL. He's Dalton Rosta. So Dalton just fought on a PFL card, which we won a lot of money on. I hit that PFL card. I gave you guys a 6-1. I told you guys Ali's grandson was gonna lose, and we went with the dog. And he submitted him. I took him on the money line 6-1. But yeah, Dalton won us money 2 weeks ago too. He's getting ready to fight for the $1 million prize against Leon Edwards' brother. So Fabian. David says, I mentioned this earlier. Wonder why Lopez didn't fight Better Beef. Guys, I don't know, David. That light heavyweight division, and why, you know, we've seen, if you guys are paying attention, Better Beef has come out in the media the last 24 hours. We know that, he's taking the fight with Nicholson. We know that Bivol is taking a fight. And Better Beav is the one that said the offer was on the table. The fight was going to be in Russia. The figures were perfect. It was great for both sides, monetarily speaking. And Bivol went the other way, and Better Beav said he wasn't just going to wait for him. So, I don't know. We don't have those answers. Assad R. Johnny, quick question about a future. Talk about it. Mr. Reed, appreciate you. Let's do it, Mr. Reed. Boxing fan with the nice little... Boxing fan and GOAT are OGs on the VIP list. So you see their stars have turned teal. I like it. I didn't do that, guys. That must be a YouTube algorithm thing to where once you support for an extended period of time, they rank you in a certain order. That's cool. I like that. Dwayne with the teal too, brother OG. Salute, Johnny. Hope you feel better at the gym on the assault. I appreciate you, Dwayne. When people always ask me on a side note of fitness, Johnny, what's your favorite piece of cardio gym equipment? I always tell them the assault bike. I love the assault bike. I don't know about the assault treadmill, but the assault bike, the one that looks like a fan, boy, I'm a bit of a sadist when I'm training. I like doing that in intervals as well. 60-second sprints, 15 seconds of rest. 60-second sprints, do 10 rounds. We're out here eating. It takes about 14 minutes. Yeah, the star turned teal, brother. MMA better. Who do you like more, Sofian or Ramirez? MMA better. I got both of those guys. I got both on a parlay. Now, I actually did MMA better. You need to join our Discord, mate. I always see you in the live. Support the channel. It's only a couple bucks a month, MMA. You go to the Discord, you'll see a method of victory parlay I gave everybody, and it's similar to what you're asking. But Umahe versus... Sofian Umahe is the French fighter. I think he's 6-0. He might be 9-0. I know his box record says 6-0. He might have other fights. I generally am hesitant to bet on French combat athletes, to be honest with you. But then when I did this tape and I saw Fonseca is the same guy that got stopped a few years back against Ryan, and I've seen what Fonseca's looked like lately, I think that, what are the odds that I get? I think that the money that you could get with, my bad, I have Fonseca on the money line. Guys, check your books right now. See if you're getting method of victory props for Albert Ramirez by stoppage or Mirko Cuello by stoppage. And I apologize, guys. I keep coughing. I told you I'm sick. The Navy Teals, I like it. Assad, Jermaine Ortiz-Claggett. Assad, Jermaine Ortiz-Claggett on paper, mate, is a fun fight. Very fun fight. People are always going to doubt Steve Claggett based on his career where it's at, him being Canadian, him having over 5 losses. And Jermaine Ortiz is always going to get, at this point in his career, get sort of slated as well. I like both guys. I really like what I've seen with Jermaine Ortiz as of late. He's always been a really sound technician. We know, just think about, his nickname. Claggett is a guy who's going to be on the front foot, volume. He weaponizes his cardio. How do you not admire that? Somebody who's into fitness, into boxing, you guys know how hard it is to keep a pace up. So when you watch Claggett, just watch Claggett against Teofimo. Both guys did fight Teofimo Lopez, and granted, that fight, Claggett's fight with Teo, I think it was in Florida, didn't really get promoted a lot. You could tell Teofimo wasn't too up for that fight, but I thought it was closer than the scorecard suggested. I thought the same thing with Ortiz versus Teofimo was closer than the scorecard suggested. I feel Ortiz, though, has already added a layer to his game. I think he's leveled up offensively from what he looked like even a year and a half ago. And so right now, I like Jermaine Ortiz to win that fight. I think Jermaine Ortiz, we should be looking at a potential world champion. He ticks all the boxes for me. Steve Claggett is gonna you fight Steve Claggett, kind of as a measuring stick. How do you deal? You need a matchup to see how you deal with pressure. This is perfect for Ortiz because Ortiz is the guy who's saying that he's going to be more offensively minded. So he's going to have a guy in Claggett who's going to be in front of him the entire time. I think we have a potential opportunity, which what we saw with Richardson Hitchens versus George Kambosos Jr. When people were still kind of doubting Hitchens, I wasn't. If you guys listened to me, you would have picked Hitchens by stoppage. We did. We won a lot of money. Based on the matchups, I feel Claggett versus Ortiz, Claggett has the potential to bring the best out of Ortiz, because if we see Ortiz have a viral moment, this is another one of these matchups. If we see Ortiz have a viral moment on the offensive side, and you mix that with what he presents technically, you got a kid who's really tough to beat, and he's already tough to beat. He just has to believe in his hands a bit more. We'll see what happens. It's a really fun fight. So the assault treadmill is based on your own. I love it. Rambler, Johnny, can't you go to Thailand and build up a padded record? I can. Rambler, 100%. Rambler, you know what they do in Australia, though? They bring the ties here. So, Rambler, you've been on the stream for a while. You've heard me mention feeder fights here in Australia. The Aussie local gyms here in Sydney, without putting, Bondi Boxing Club, Tony Del Vecchio, head coach at Bondi, great coach. He's worked with multiple world champions at one time or another. He's the guy who molded Matteo Tapia into who he is right now. One time he trained Darrell Foley. At one time he trained TJ Doheny. And that's kind of the thing. They would bring Thai fighters over who were Muay Thai fighters that also box. So Rambler, 100%, it works both ways. Dwayne says he saw my long parlay, going to try to tail. Do at your own risk, brother. I appreciate you, though. MMA Better, I'm going to join the Discord. Perfect, Better. So that link is pinned. Guys, to join the Discord, couple bucks a month, it's pinned in this chat. And what it is Johnny Says Boxing Insider on YouTube. You get a bunch of accessibility here on YouTube. You get accessibility on my social medias, Instagram. But more importantly, you join the community on Discord. That's where the boys are. The pro betters. You got your Muscle Browns of the world, TJ, Chilltown Boxings of the world, plus all the boys on the chat. We got a very educated chat if you guys didn't know. The hybrid parlay. Let's do it. Maurice, not yet. Dwayne Styles, did you see the Oscar Valdez card? Haven't seen it yet. Money Meach, Ramirez stoppage. Okay, thanks for answering me, Money. So Money is saying Ramirez by stoppage minus 175. Cuello by stoppage minus 550. That's insane. Minus 550. Money Meach, does your book allow you to just pick Cuello by KO or TKO? Those odds at minus 550 are crazy. Wow. This is what I'm saying. If you guys are using odds to reason, if you didn't watch tape, if you're not listening to guys like myself, what we're saying, the matchup with Cuello versus Rios is so overmatched. Cuello to stop Rios is minus 550. From Australia, that's $1.21. So if Cuello stops Rios, you put 100 on that outcome. You're only getting your money back plus 21 bucks. So to answer a question earlier in the chat, is Cuello a lock? I mean, that's all the evidence you need if you don't want to do your own research. What do you think about Virgil fighting Thurman? David, I don't think it's trash, mate. Then again, I'm a hopeless romantic. I think Keith Thurman presents an issue for a lot of fighters at 54. I think Keith Thurman, people forget he's not as young as he once was, but mate, I would definitely watch that fight. The thing about Keith Thurman, which must be spoken about, is he punches from awkward angles. Look at his highlight reel tape. He has power in areas of the fight where guys traditionally don't have power at. Usually you're taught to sit down on your punches, set up a backhand with a jab, slip, feint, boom, walk your opponent onto it. Thurman will drop guys backing up. Thurman will drop guys angling with his lead hand. Thurman is a problem. You mix that with his athleticism, the rhetoric he brings to a fight week, a fight camp. I'm for that fight, and I'm a huge Virgil Ortiz fan. I would probably say I'm a bigger Ortiz fan than I'm a Keith Thurman fan. But right now, I wouldn't tell you that Virgil would dog walk him at all. Frank Martin versus ABJ. I hope that happens. I'd love to break that tape down. Unknown J99. I got a feeling the Miracle Cuello can go okay. Then take the money line, Jay. Because I think when people are asking if it's a lock, when I give you a lock, guys, I'm talking just money line. We know there's no. To be honest with you, I don't think there's any such thing as a lock in any sport. Anything could happen. What was Buster Douglas was 40-1 against Mike Tyson, 40-1 on the money line. So, if you hear the word lock, unless I preface method of victory lock, I'm always talking the money line. Rambler, show us your IBZ Intercontinental Boxing Days. Rambler, you're a savage. Childish Gambino not getting no action on Cuello method. Maybe it'll open up, Childish Gambino. It might open up. That fight happens in about 12 hours. Koki, ABJ Boar's held. It's a very technical style. The reason why, Koki, I like Barboza is the mentality he brings into the ring with his style. And I like guys who aren't the most athletic. I like guys who have been overlooked. I like guys who are overachievers. So, up until Barboza never let me down up until the Teofimo Lopez fight. We went huge on him against Jack in England and we won. So, and the mindset is I like cheering for guys with that mindset, not always about if they can knock guys out, or I like how he operates too. Watching how he goes about his business. The analysis in Jim Lampley would tell you that Teofimo Lopez dog walked ABJ, but he didn't knock him down. Barboza Jr. wasn't in trouble anywhere. Teo was quicker, of course. He had the better reflexes, the better athlete. But at the end of the day, it's boxing. He's actually one of my favorite fighters to watch. But I'm a nerd, dude. I like dog and bones fighters. I like one-punch knockout guys, but I also like technicians. Like, I like watching Jermaine Ortiz box, but a lot of people don't. I like watching Shakur. And I've been telling you guys about Shakur for like a half a decade. It's only recently now people will say they like Shakur. Like, I like watching Shakur Stevenson operate. But at the same time, how do you not like a Marauder? How do you not like Artur Beterbiev, how he goes about his business? Hey, Johnny, I got a feeling Cuello and Rios go in the distance. Let J99 let me see what your book is giving us then. Cuello and Rios go in the distance. Are you picking a winner to say Cuello by decision, or are you just saying, will the fight go the distance? What are those odds? Jermaine Ortiz is either fighting next week or the week after. I'll check on BoxRec for you. Mike Ross went big on Cuello. So did I. Mike, so did I. Mikey boy, the big fella. Koki, salute. Dwayne Styles in the house. Assad. We got the boys in the house. Jay Voorhees says, what do you think about Ford versus Nova? It's a fun fight. I think 2 years ago, this is going to sound wild, 2 years ago, I would have said Nova. I think I like Ford's adjustments he's made with his punch output, his offensive artillery, his decision-making not to exit too far out the pocket, how he chooses to sort of have a more offensive-minded approach over his last few fights. People are going to judge him. Even that close decision loss to Nick Ball, and people are going to say, why? How come he didn't stop Thomas Matisse, who's he's an Ohio guy, the gunner man. I'm not one of these guys who are going to tell you Ford is a pound-for-pound guy. I'm not even going to tell you. I was probably going to pick Kakachi to beat Ford. I got to be honest with you. I'm not too high on Raymond Ford in such a way that's why I'm picking him over Nova. I just wanted to preface that. But I'm not a hater. Stylistically, Abraham Nova, it's a solid fight. I actually don't mind this fight. Right now, off the top of my head, I think Ford should get it done. Jermaine Ortiz has a lot to show off. Hopefully he puts on a masterclass and beats Claggett. But that's what I think so. I think Jermaine Ortiz has the skill to start stopping guys. Guys, a lot of times what happens at the highest level, once again, we could play the victim and blame Floyd Mayweather. But think about Shushu in his last fight. Think about how Shakur versus who's the kid from the UK who took Schofield's place. Can't think of his name off the jump. Shakur ended up stopping him, I think, in the 9th. But how that fight was trending, it's a mental thing to turn it up in a fight when you're beating a guy on the cards to go for the stoppage. It's a mental thing. It's a confidence thing. So Ortiz has the skill to do this. Ortiz has just like I told you guys, Hitchens had the skill to be that guy. But that is a conscious decision that each fighter must make when they see, either they could just cruise and win a decision, depending on where they're in their career, or they want to be the guy to, get big fights. Maybe they haven't broken through yet. And then some guys are actually forced to get on the front foot, and sometimes that doesn't work out. We've seen it before in boxing where, somebody is pressed for the stoppage and, they've gotten away from their game plan and it went against them. They might have got dropped. So it's a tricky sort of balancing act to play. That's why we should never judge fighters win or lose. What they're doing out there in real time, with dire consequences, sometimes life or death, literally. They're problem solving. Lights, crowds, the noise, and they're just problem solving, making split seconds decisions, intuitiveness. It's insane. It's literally the best sport in the world. Dwayne says, I'm hyped for the IBF welterweight fight. Yes, Crocker and Donovan. Yes, that's an all UK. People are really excited. 147-pound sort of pecking order fight. To be fair, Thurman gets, David, Thurman punches in awkward angles. It's not like you guys have never heard that narrative from me about Thurman until I think yesterday, because I've been watching Thurman's tape. Even his loss against Pacquiao, when you watch this, you don't just watch Brock Jarvis. You got to go before then. And the knock on Keith is going to be he's old, he's inactive. But we haven't seen him look old. We haven't seen him look old. I didn't see, he still went out there and stopped a young, hungry Brock Jarvis for whatever it's worth. Then you start looking at how he goes about his business historically. Then you start looking at his resume. Keith Thurman is a real problem, mate. For I think anyone, I mean this, I think anyone at 54, Keith Thurman is still a real problem. I agree with you, Mike Ross. Eve, Thurman's IQ is really high. What do you think of Ramirez under 10F? I like it, Childish Gambino. Koki, I don't think anyone should sleep on Keith. 100% Koki. Jay Voorhees, Nova has his own mascot. That is a new life goal for me. 100. Jay Voorhees says Abraham Nova has his own mascot. That's a new life goal for me. Sam Goodman has his own traveling cheering section. That's insane. Google or YouTube The Mad Bunch. They travel with him to all of his fights. It's a full-on cheering section. You don't see that at all in boxing. I don't know the last time I saw that in boxing. It's insane to see. I was at Sam's last 3 fights. I was at the Reese Salim fight, I was at the TJ Doheny fight, and I was at the Cesar Vaca fight. Damn, the chat's popping off. Sorry if I can't get to all these messages, mate. You guys are awesome. We're 30 minutes in. I'm going to stay on as long as I can. Do you think Oima will go the distance? MMA Better asks. Let me double check before I answer that. I mean, to go the distance, he's already $1.23 on the money line. I mean, it's not bad. Yeah, Josh Pally. James Drummond, I appreciate the assist there. Damn, I missed so many of these. Okay, let's get to David Iser, Sugar Nunez versus Chris Diaz. I like that fight. I'm high on one. I like 130 pounds. I like Sugar Nunez. I don't know. David, what do you make of the matchup, though? David, what's your take on Chris Diaz? Mike Ross, salute. Josh Pally, that's right. James Drummond says, hey, Johnny, just on the Mad Bunch, not many of them will be there, apparently, according to Sam. I mean, yeah, these are kids. Aren't these kids from the Shire? That, the boys from the Shire, they probably can't travel to Saudi. I guess I just use that as a reference point to help people who aren't countryside here in Australia, that Sam Goodman isn't a guy who's going into that Nick Ball fight just getting a check. Sam Goodman isn't a guy who thinks he's going to lose. You know what I'm saying? Ricardo Velez says, should Miguel Cotto? Ricardo Velez, we haven't seen you since last week. Welcome back to the stream. Ricardo, last week you were telling us about Cotto coming out of retirement. I think 100% he should stay retired. 44 years old now? He's a living legend. Enjoy your retirement, Cotto. I don't want to see him take any more damage. So David says, Christopher Diaz is a tough veteran. Kogi, good memory, gentlemen. You boys are savages. Guys, wherever you are tuning into the world, we're going between 30 and 50 people in the live. Could you like this video? Only 16 of you liked it. Also, come join us on our Discord. Become insiders and VIPs. Click the link that's pinned. It's a couple bucks a month. You get all the betting advice. You get to join the community. It's only a couple bucks. That's pinned in this chat. Like the video. I'm going to stay on for a bit longer. Did you guys hear the Jarrell Miller and Jared Anderson allegedly is off? I don't know what to, guys. That American heavyweight scene just is such kind of a letdown as of late. There are a couple up-and-comers. Josh Edwards looks like a fun little prospect. Josh is, what, 4-0 with 4 stoppages. We just saw him last week. You got Kiki Torres. He's one of my favorites. But other than that, man, you see, there's not a lot of depth in America right now at this point. This is still boxing related, but is ESPN still going to do cards? I don't know, man. David, I'm not sure what ESPN's going to do. I don't know if it's because ESPN is owned by Disney. I don't know. I think they're trying to set up a Nick Ball versus the Monster. We'll see. We'll see if Nick Ball can get past Sam Goodman. Because Sam Goodman was supposed to fight anyway at 22. EV 44 ounces. If you're referring to the Jarrell Miller, Jared Anderson, go to Jarrell Miller's Instagram. That's how I found out. So he posted a story about Jared Anderson pulling out. But I don't know if it's official. I don't know if he's trolling. It's on his Instagram. You could hear it from his mouth. Dwayne says, I'm pissed that I had a 2-leg parlay last week. I should have picked Duarte by points. I need to hit a parlay. Let's go, Dwayne. Dwayne, you're coming. Your time's coming, brother. Duarte by you should have picked Duarte. Oh, would you take Duarte by stoppage, or hopefully you didn't listen to me? I told you I picked my upset of the week was Sims Jr., which didn't hit, but he was an upset, so I'm not too mad at that. WWE pay-per-views are heading to ESPN next year. If you hit like already, let's see in the chat. Boxing fan in the house. ESPN Plus is nice, but without Top Rank. Yeah, I mean, Mike, are you in Australia? Because here in Australia, we pay for ESPN Plus on our Disney subscription, but they black us out from the Top Rank cards. So, like, in Australia, we weren't able to watch the Truck Simpson card versus Jahai Tucker. We weren't able to watch the Keyshawn Davis in Virginia when Abdullah got elevated to the main event. They don't even let us watch those. So it's like, why do I even have the ESPN Plus? We don't even get to see those cards anyway. It's terrible. Even if we paid X amount of money, Australia gets blacked out from a media blackout for some reason with all of those Top Rank cards that are on ESPN Plus. It's insane. No, Sam Goodman didn't duck anyway at all. Sam Goodman's camp, which should be held accountable, had him sparring a week out, and he got cut. So he did. Dude, you guys are thinking I'm crazy, but I think Inoue would have. Look at Inoue. Watch Inoue versus TJ Doheny. TJ had his moments with Inoue. Longer, bigger, smooth operator, uses the whole ring. I think when did Inoue get Doheny out of there? Was it the 7th? I mean, you guys think I'm crazy, but don't sleep on Sam Goodman, mate. But you know what? I'm talking about the card. Voorhees, yeah, we know Keyshawn missed weight. We know he was pulled. That fight didn't take place. But the card went on. The card still took place. We weren't able to watch it. Yeah, just the idea. Goodman's not ducking anybody. That dude will fight in the backyard for free. Sam Goodman's a fighter. He's a fighter who's a real good boxer. Very technical, smooth operator. I'm interested to see, I think it'll be a second fight at 26. You don't have to have knockout power, one-punch knockout power to be a world champion. He's a man, and he has a good, deep, solid camp. He's solid, man. I like Sam. I'm picking Sam over Ball. I like him there. He's underrated right now, he is underrated, man. Watch his fight, and people are like, who's he fought? He had some good. He's fought former world champions on his resume. Adele versus Hrgovic will end early. Ooh, boys, we always have to be hesitant with these sort of the heavyweights. I like when it comes to the heavyweights, boys. If I'm not picking a money line lock, I'm probably going to do a knockdown prop, to be honest with you. Who is Wilder fighting next? I don't know, man. I don't know. Fabio Wardley? I'm making that up. Ramirez by decision. I think Jerome is durable. He is durable. Ramirez on, Ramirez money line is one of my locks. Inoue is going to lose if he comes up to 26, obviously. Yeah, Inoue, I mean, he's getting... This is why I love Inoue, though. The same reason I'm about to... One of the talking points in contrast to his style, why I love Inoue. I love his dog mindset, mate. I love his style. How do you not? He's willing to get hit, but he's vulnerable like anybody else in boxing. That durability and style works until it doesn't work. I mean, he got dropped against Ramon Cardenas early. He gets dropped. We've seen him get dropped multiple times. Luis Nery dropped him. The most wild thing about that is after the Cardenas fight, Cardenas spoke about doing tape and knowing after watching the Nery knockdown that Inoue has a tell. When he's in the pocket, he has a tell by dropping his one side. When he throws his hook, he leaves his other side here, vulnerable, boom. And, you know, those guys were at, what, 22? What up, Carlos Vargas in the house? Appreciate you, boys. We're about 42 minutes in. Best channel in boxing, Tukai, man. We're doing our thing. We're here. We're here in the house. I know, man. I miss... I like watching Andy Ruiz. It's unfortunate. Boxing's a tough sport, boys. We know that. Still to this day, watching that first AJ fight was insane. If you guys want to get inspired, man, watch Andy Ruiz hit the bag, dude. His hand speed is insane. That big boy. I always say Andy Ruiz... Imagine if Andy Ruiz had everything streamlined like a samurai. He probably should be fighting at middleweight. Imagine Andy Ruiz at middleweight with those hands. Dude, who did he fight? Who is the big Mexican heavyweight who was fun to watch? And they literally went life and death together. Damn it, I forget his name. Big puncher. It was a fun fight. Dwayne Styles, don't forget me when you hit 100K. We ain't forget. Dude, we just got a 4X where we are right now. I got to be honest with you, boys. The subs are just an outcome of us. You know what I'm saying? Of our love for boxing. I'm just fortunate I have a space where I could connect with some like-minded boxing heads. That's why you're never going to see clickbait on my channel. I'm never going to talk politics. You're never going to see me make a pivot to start, rumors or, this guy said this about this guy. No, this is boxing. We're boxing heads out here. I know it's early, but I'm having a hard time deciding between... EV 44 ounce in the house. He says, I know it's early, but I'm having a hard time deciding between David and Yard. It's a fun fight, man. We covered Anthony Yard in his last fight. he fought. It was on the undercard. It was in the UK. It was at Wembley, and he had a bit of a slow start. We were live streaming, and then he got into his groove. He's a bit of a slow starter. I mean, we've seen him in there with the best in the world. I think he's a tough out. He's a big puncher. He's brutal. He's physical. It's going to be a good challenge for David Benavidez. Chris, yeah, thank you, Dwayne. Yeah, that EV from Chris Arreola was the fight I was talking about. I used to watch all of Andy Ruiz's fights, man. So when I'm a fan of the guy. Yeah, Chris Arreola, mate. That's what's up. It's a fun fight. Arto, it's getting better, but you can still hear it, Arto, Ara. That's why I couldn't live stream earlier today. I actually slept in. It's the first time I didn't do my 6:30 a.m. live stream for you boys in maybe 2 months since I started live streaming. I just needed to get some rest. I'm feeling a little bit better now. How confident are you guys? Okay, so Carlos, this is a fitting question. You just came on the chat. This is my upset of the week. I also put it on a parlay. You don't have to follow me on this. But Alexander Devyatov is a Russian who's 16-0 with 14 knockouts. He is a traditional by nature 135er. This fight is happening 140. We've seen John Manu before. Good fighter. It's a good fight. Manu's, I think, only loss was against Kurt Scobie. He got stopped early. You can't find too much tape on Devyatov. He is one of these guys with a big Russian background, amateur-wise. Comes from a solid camp. Watch his interviews. He has power. It's going to be a firefight. I got him at plus 285. All things considered, with the limited opportunity for us to find a underdog this week. Putting those together, how confident am I that he's going to win? 50-50. I mean, he's a plus 280 for a reason. He's an underdog for a reason, but I am betting on him. He is on my ticket. I did bet on him. Ricardo Velez, remember Chris Cuello? Yeah, that was a fun fight. Kalnacki, big Polish baby, Adam Kalnacki. Yeah, that was like, these are like the pandemic era heavyweights. It's a tough, I know, it was a war. Chris Arioli, for how big he was another skilled guy, man. He had sneaky skills. You're welcome, Carlos. You're welcome, Carlos. I'm not going too heavy. It's like, it's tough. I got to be honest. It's tough to bet against John Manu. Manu's tough. He's a good fighter. But, you know, it's one of these instinctual things. I'm siding with the power. I'm siding with the undefeated record. I'm siding with that Russian amateur pedigree. And it's at plus money. It juices up one of my parlays, and I have him by himself. So nothing too much. I don't try to get rich from this. You guys know that. I should also mention, if you are a type of person who takes our hard-earned money to gamble on anything, make sure it's entertainment. And if you're not having fun, don't do it. Gambling changes people. Gambling is like any other addiction. I've watched cocaine change. This is even a joke. Spending like 8 years in California, going to grad school there, Long Beach, California, in my 20s. I tell people, dude, at the time from like 2004 to 2011, people in Southern California would do cocaine like it was like water. Everybody did cocaine. It was crazy. I'm talking your manager at work, your teacher, your mates here. And it's something I always avoided. And I watched that drug change people. I've watched weed change people. I've watched alcohol change people. I've watched, sex addictions change people. I'm talking friends of mine who became addicted to porn. Any sort of addiction will change your neuro pathways, will change your mindset, will change your mood, will change your outlook on life. And gambling's the same. So if you're finding that like you're betting and you're losing and and it's affecting you, or if you're betting and you're winning and you're just cavalier about the entire thing, take a step back, mate. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys to be pro gambling. I'm not. You guys ask me for my picks. I break the picks down. I sprinkle a little something on it. I know we have professional gamblers on the page, and I literally take my approach. The one thing you can trust in, I do take my approach from the studious side as if I was a pro bettor. But I don't wager like I'm a pro bettor. I do it strictly to stay connected with the outcomes, just so you guys know. If you guys didn't know that. No sugar is amazing. That booger sugar, babe, rush to the yayo. Killer. One of my favorite Cameron songs. It was on Purple Haze. One of my favorite sneaky hip-hop albums of all time, don't sleep, was Cameron Purple Haze. And they had that outro, Rush to the Yayo, and they sampled the Scarface song. and I think what else was on that? Killer Cam. I think Oh Boy, Hey Ma, one of my favorite hip hop albums. That was the Flossin' era. It would be like 2001. And I had like, the boys would have fake zirconium in our ears, the fake diamonds. We'd have the skin fade lined up. Cats was wearing Timberlands with blazers. You guys don't know about that, do you? Ford is on upset alert. Did you see the movie 2 for the money? Did you see the movie 2 for... I haven't, Arto. I think Ford is on upset alert. Abraham Nova is a live dog, boys. Down and out. They're on Come Home With Me. So, yeah, I put... The era of when I was so I graduated high school in 2000. I spent like 4 years listening to nothing but Cameron and Dipset. So, like, I don't know exactly what albums they were on, but, like, Dipset, Anthem, Jules Santana, Freaky Zeke, Jim Jones, but they had, like, I'm Ready, I Really Mean It. Yeah, there was an era where New York was only about a 6-hour drive from my hometown. And, my undergrad, I went to college at University of Pittsburgh. So Philly was only like a 5-hour drive, and we would drive into the city every now and then. So, and I'd come from like a traditional Big L was an influence, Biggie, Tupac, in that era. But then I even told you guys about the underground sort of like, I was into spoken word, like Fred the Godson. Dude, I've had Fred the Godson on my podcast before. Rest in peace. Fred passed away during the pandemic. That was I always tell people, Fred the Godson, in terms of like wordplay, writers, poets, dude, Fred got bars. YouTube Fred the Godson on Fred the Godson freestyle. Amazing. He never got his flowers, man. That's something that still bums me out. Is Fred passing away before he was a household name. Yeah, Jules was the man too, man. They had, dude, Dipset, like, do you guys remember when Conor McGregor came into the UFC? And I don't know if I was working at a gym at the time. And when Conor broke through, you had all these dudes taking on Conor's persona, just like walking like him, talking shit. In the early 2000s, when Dipset came on the scene, we were like, it spread, at least the part of the country I was from, man. We were all strutting, like I said, the fake diamonds. We'd go to the thrift store to try to find like a color for a coat. It was crazy. I still listen to that music, to be honest with you. I'm Ready is still a banger. BBD, come on now. Of course I like Belle Biv DeVoe. But what you know about Shy, though? Feds violated all Jules' music. Yeah, Santana. He got locked up for some gun charges in the airport, I think. Catterall versus Raleigh. LSD is amazing. You guys are awesome. Guys, we're approaching an hour, 52 minutes. I'll keep it on for a little bit. I love when we start talking about 90s R&B and hip-hop. It's my favorite part of the chat. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Guys, the Africa card is going down in a couple hours. I might do a sneaky live stream. It's on DAZN, so that's in like 10 hours. If I'm going to go live, I'll post it in our Discord so you guys can know. What if Goodman stops ball? Julius, it's an important question. So whenever there's a dog, whenever I say there's a live underdog, I'm taking the money line. I don't get greedy. Because imagine if you get greedy, you take Goodman by decision when you're already getting him at plus money and he stops ball. Like, you'd be salty. So I remove that outcome, especially like if I'm real close to saying that like I'm going heavy on the underdog. Like tomorrow in Australia with the John Manu fight versus Alexander, I'm taking the underdog, but I'm not going heavy on it. I think I might go really heavy on Goodman, but that's just on the money line. Henry Williams in the house. What's up, buddy? Who do you like in the Jose Aguero versus Diego Alaman match today? Where is that fight taking place, mate? I can't. I'm not even going to try to pretend I know. I didn't even know that fight was going down. Is that on the African card? Because I'm not even seeing it right now. The only fights I'm seeing, boys. Oh, that's the opener. It's the opener. You got Josie Francisco Aguero 13-0, Diego Alaman 20-3. Are you guys getting odds on that? I assume Aguero, it says he's the A side. He only has 13 pro fights. Diego, 24 pro fights. I assume Aguero's a big favorite. Yeah, I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to bet that fight. The fights I'm taking, I got Ramirez on the money line. This is my long parlay that I gave you guys on the public YouTube. If you want to join our Discord, click the link. You'll get the other bets. But I like Ramirez on the money line, Cuello on the money line, Umaha. I like the A sides. I got to be honest with you. Even the only one I was kind of hesitant was the Fonseca fight. Only because I do not like betting on French fighters. I don't like French boxers. I don't like French MMA fighters. Just look at the legislation. I loved when, if you guys are UFC fans, I love when I think I bet $250 for me is a lot on one MMA fight. When Brian Battle went to Paris 3 months ago, Brian Battle was matched up with a French guy. I was like, dude, he's a 3-1 dog. Are you kidding me? And we hit. He won. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. I base that because I think Battle is still evolving, but MMA in France has only been legal for, I think, 5 years. When Battle gets the microphone, He goes, do you think I'm really going to come to Paris, France and let a French man beat me? You know what I'm saying? So there's like, which is an ego move, but it's exactly how like when you're in combat sports globally and you hear you're matched up with somebody from France, you're like, I ain't about to let a French dude beat me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a thing. So I'm real hesitant on Omaha just because he's, you know, he's a medalist. We know about these. We know as of late with these guys who are pros with under 10 pro fights, who were Olympians going against these guys with almost 30 pro fights. We've seen it happen in the last 8 weeks. Francisco Rodriguez Jr. versus Galal Yafai. We saw it with Jazza Dickens and Albert Badagaziev. Gary from 3D talked me out of my Fonseca bet because I was going to take Fonseca. I was, you know, but I'm taking Omaha and I have him on 2 parlays. But it's if you guys, nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything in life. If we're human, we don't know shit about anything. So my point is, do your own research. Put a bit of, yeah, sprinkle something on the draw. Henry, interesting. Fonseca is a tough bit of a German. Yeah, it's the same guy we saw get stopped. Again, you know, he's been stopped before, badly before. But yeah, after further film study, watching Omaha's last few fights, watching Fonseca, what he looks like. Wow, look at the money. Is that really what it is? It's 15-1 now. So let's pull it up. If you guys are getting these options. Omaha's, yeah, I got it at 16-1 the draw. And Fonseca's almost a 4-1 dog. If you're gonna go underdog, guys, what's your lock? What Julius say? Julius, what's your lock? Like I told you, I'm not gonna take Fonseca as my upset of the week. I'm taking Alexander Devyatov tomorrow night in Australia. He's at $2.70 plus 270. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I got to get a throat lozenge. I'm going to go to the fish market. I'm going to get some prawns, some crab, maybe some other shellfish. The Sydney fish market's insane down here, boys. If you guys like seafood, the seafood alone is worth the travel. LA to Sydney, 15 hours nonstop. Get into it. I'm going live again. Sorry about missing the live this morning. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the feedback, the community we're building. One more thing. Let's get after it. Take care of yourself.